Hello guys, you're welcome back to another amazing tutorial. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the easiest way to cut and sew this trendy bubu gown with an asymmetric neckline and cold shoulder sleeve. It is very simple, detailed and beginner friendly. So if you're interested, please watch this video to the end and don't forget to like, share and drop a comment. And if this is your first time on this channel, please click on the subscribe button. So now we're going to dive into today's tutorial proper. So here I went ahead to fold my fabric into two, and I'll be cutting both the front and the back at the same time. So you're going to go ahead to fold the front into two, and you do the same thing for the back. And also, to know the amount of fabric to fold, all you need to do is to take out your shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus your sleeve length. So in my case, my shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 7 inch. I'm going to go ahead to mark that 7 inch. Then the sleeve length I'm going to be working with is 10 inch. But because I'm going to be attaching a band of 2 inch to each, so I went ahead to mark 8 inch plus 0.5 inch allowance. So this is the amount of fabric you're going to go ahead to fold. You'll be folding your shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus your sleeve length minus 2 inch. Whatever you get is what you'll be using to fold your fabric. And also you'll be folding for both the front and the back together because it's a free dress and the back does not have a zipper allowance. The first thing I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to draw a starting line which is going to be serving as my shoulder line. So all measurements will be starting from this point. After marking the shoulder line, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll also go ahead to insert my sleeve length minus 2 inch plus 0.5 inch. After marking that, this is what I had once I was done taking that measurement. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert my neck width. So I'll go ahead to mark a neck width of 3.5 inch and a neck depth of 3.5 inch also. After which I'll go ahead to draw the neckline. So note that I'll be coming back to modify this neck later. I'm just doing this to serve as a guide. After inserting my neck measurement, the next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to come down from this point by 1.5 inch for the shoulder slope, after which I'll connect that point to my neck width with a straight line like this. So next I'm going to go ahead to mark the sleeve opening. For the sleeve opening, I want my sleeve opening to be 8 inch. Then I'll be adding 1 inch extra for the sewing allowance. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead to draw a straight horizontal line at that point, and this line is going to be serving as the chest line for the dress we are making. So next I'll move over to the bodice to insert my body circumference measurement. So if you want the gown to have a shape, you're going to go ahead to mark your half length measurement and also go ahead to insert your hip depth measurement. Then go ahead to insert those measurements at this point if you want it to have shape. But I want mine to be straight. I don't want it to have any shape on the side. So what I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to insert my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance all the way down. So I'm just going to go ahead to insert that measurement all the way down, after which I'll connect the points together. So if you want yours to have this shape on the side, all you need to do is to insert your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip depth measurement, after which you're going to go ahead to connect the points together. But for me, I want the side to be straight. So I'm just going to go ahead to insert my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inch ease and 1 inch sewing allowance all the way down. Then I'll connect the sides together. So after connecting the sides, next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw a curve on this armhole area to eliminate sharp edges. So this is what the dress is going to look like. Next, I'm going to go ahead to quickly insert the length of the gown I'm making. So the length of the gown I'm making is 42 inch. I'm going to go ahead to mark that and I'll add 1.5 inch extra for my allowances. After which I'll go ahead to cut it out. After cutting, this is what it is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to work on the neckline of the dress. And to do that effectively, I'm going to go ahead to open up my dress like this, making sure that the bad face of the dress is facing each other. So you can either make the good face to face each other, or you place it making sure that the bad face is facing each other. Do not allow the good face to face the bad face, because if you do so, you will end up cutting different necklines. So make sure that the good face of your dress is facing each other, or the bad face of the dress is facing each other. I hope this is clear. So you're going to go ahead to place them like this, making sure that the sleeve and the neckline are aligning. So after placing them together, the next thing you're going to go ahead to do now is to decide where you want the asymmetric neckline to be. So for me, I'm placing the asymmetric neckline on this side of my dress. And in doing that, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to measure 3.5 inch from this point, and I'll go ahead to mark. So you can go in by 4 inch, 4.5 or 5 inch, depending on how wide you want the cold shoulder effect to be. Then I'll come over to the center line, and at this point I'll be coming down by 1.5 inch. So remember, I already came down by 3.5 inch while cutting the neckline. So plus 1.5 inch, it means I'm coming down by 5 inch. So if you want yours to be deeper than this, you can go as low as 2 inch and so on. Next, I'm going to go ahead to connect this other neck width to this other shoulder, making sure that it passed through the 1.5 which I came down by on the center line. I hope this is clear. So if you don't really understand what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. So after connecting, this is what the asymmetric neckline is going to look like. The next thing to do is to measure what you have from this point like this. That's from the shoulder line to where the neckline measurement is. Make sure you take that measurement because it is very, very important. You will need it when attaching this strip to that point. So what I have here is 4 inch. Keep that measurement in mind because you're going to be needing it later. After taking that measurement, the next you're going to go ahead to do now is to draw a straight vertical line from that point all the way down to the hem of the dress. So this is going to be serving as the point where you're going to be attaching the black strip you'll be fixing to the gown. You're going to be repeating the same thing on the back of the dress also because the front and the back of the dress is the same thing. So after drawing the straight vertical line, this is what I have once I was done doing that. The next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to cut out the neckline like you see me doing in the video. So after cutting, this is what your neckline is going to look like. Once you cut it out, this is what you should have. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut out the facing for the neckline we are making, and I'm going to be using this black piece of fabric. So you can pick any color on your fabric and use that to cut out your facing. And here I have the fabric folded into two because I'll be cutting for both the front and the back block of the dress at the same time. So next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to place the facing underneath my fabric like this. Then I'll go ahead to place my dress on it. So now I'm going to go ahead to arrange my fabric on the facing like you see me doing in the video, after which I'm going to go ahead to keep it in place with my pins. Once I'm done pinning my fabric to the facing, the next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to use my chalk to trace out the neckline on the facing like you see me doing in the video, after which I'm going to go ahead to take out my fabric from the facing. After tracing the neckline on the facing, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to mark out the width of the facing. So I want the width of my facing to be 2.5 inch. I'll be adding 1 inch extra for the sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead to mark the 3.5 inch all the way around like you see me doing in the video. After which I'm going to go ahead to connect the point together, then I'll cut it out. After cutting, this is what your facing is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to place the facing on my fabric. So you're going to go ahead to place the good face of your facing on the wrong face of your fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead to separate my fabric because I have both of my fabric placed together. I'm going to go ahead to separate it, and I'll be placing the facing on each of them. So I'm going to go ahead to place the good face of my facing on the wrong face of my fabric. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine to sew the neckline using 0.5 inch. After doing that, I'll turn it over, give it a good press, then I'll come back to show you what next. After attaching my facing, this is what it's going to look like. So I notched, flip it over, and this is what you should have. As you can see, the inner part is looking so neat. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to finish up this lower part of the facing. And what I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to fold in 0.5 inch on the hem of the facing. I'll fold it all the way around. I'll press it with my pressing iron, after which I'm going to go ahead to run a top stitch on it. So after folding the edge of the facing, this is what it looks like, and I also went ahead to run a top stitch on it. I also did the same thing on this other part. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the front and the back block together. So I'm going to go ahead to place them like this, making sure the good face is facing each other. Then I'll go over to my sewing machine to join just the shoulder area together. So I'll go ahead to do this, then I'll come back to show you what next. So here I've gone ahead to join the shoulders together, and this is what I have. This is what the bag looks like once I was done doing all this. So make sure that you have this line also drawn at the back of the dress, because we're going to be attaching the strip at this point. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to attach the strip to the dress. And for the strip, I'm going to be using this black piece of fabric for the strip, and I'm going ahead to cut it out. So the width of the strip I have here is 2.5 inch. So what I did was to cut out 6 inch. So when you open it up, you're going to be having 6 inch. I cut out 6 inch, and I went ahead to fold in 0.5 inch at the top, 0.5 inch at the bottom. Then I went ahead to fold it into two equal parts. So when you fold it into two, you're going to be having 2.5 inch. So next I'm going to go ahead to attach the strip to my dress, and to do that I'm going to go ahead to open up the dress, because I'm going to be attaching to the front separately and also to the back separately. So you go ahead to open up your dress like this. After opening up your dress, you're going to go ahead to place the strip on it, making sure that this line is at the center of the strip. So I'm just going to go ahead to pin this down with my pins like you see me doing in the video. So once you get to the neckline area, you're going to go ahead to insert that measurement you took from the neck width to the neck depth the other time. I said you should have this measurement in mind. So in my case is 4 inch. That is 4 inch for the front and 4 inch for the back. That makes it 8 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead to place my triple like this and take out the 8 inch measurement. After taking my measurement, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to continue pinning the strap to the back of the dress like you see me doing in the video. So after pinning, I'm going to be running a stitch on both sides of the strap from the front to the back. And once I'm done doing that, I'm also going to go ahead to attach this black strip to the sleeve. So I'm going ahead to cut out the black strip for the sleeve. And what I have here is 2.5 inch unfold. So I'm going to be sewing with 0.5 inch allowance. So I'll place it on the sleeve like this. Then I'm going to go ahead to run a stitch on it. After stitching and flipping it over, you have something like this. Once I'm done doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do is to join the front and the back block of the dress together. Then I'll come back to show you the final look of the dress. So here we have the final look of the dress, looking so beautiful and very nice. So if you find this video helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to, and also don't forget to like, share and drop a comment. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my other tutorials.